I'm Sherry Vise, the Executive Director of the Mississippi Municipal League. Congratulations on your election to municipal office. You are to be commended for your commitment to public service and to making your village, city, or town a better place to live. The Mississippi Municipal League is a private, nonpartisan association founded in 1931. The MML represents 289 member cities across the state. As the official association of municipalities, we work extremely hard to provide services such as training and education, research and technical assistance, and advocacy at the Mississippi Legislature and at the U.S. Congress. The webinar today is designed to give you a quick overview of the structure and programs available if you're a member of MML, and to also provide you with important information to help you get ready for your first official meeting in early July. The MML is governed by a board of directors appointed by our 3 officers. Each officer represents one of 3 Supreme Court districts in our state, which means the MML governing board always has an excellent cross-section of the representatives from cities, both large and small. The MML board of directors considers recommendations from the MML executive committee, which is primarily composed of MML past presidents who are still serving in municipal office. Each summer, we hold an annual conference on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Along with a robust education agenda, the annual conference also includes the election of the new second vice president, which rotates among the 3 Supreme Court districts. Each city is allowed to cast 1 vote in the election. Later in the webinar, you will hear more about the activities and training available at our annual conference. Here at the MML, we have 6 staff members and a contract lobbyist under the direction of the executive director. You will hear from specific staff members later in the webinar, but I want you to know that each of our staff members stands ready to serve you as a municipal official and has an important role in the mission of the MML, helping cities and towns excel. One of the most important roles of the MML is to advocate for municipal-friendly laws at both the state and federal level. Each fall, the MML staff and our lobbyists travel the state to hold legislative planning meetings with elected officials. At these meetings, we brainstorm with members regarding issues that need to be addressed through legislation. Later in the fall, the MML Legislative Committee, which is appointed by our officers, adopts the final legislative agenda, and it's ultimately approved by the MML Board of Directors. The MML staff works hard during the session to provide members with updates regarding action taken at the Capitol, which could have an impact on municipalities. I can't emphasize enough that our success at the Capitol in either passing good laws or stopping bad laws is driven by member engagement. For this reason, we send out weekly updates and issue call to action through email and text messaging. We're also members of the National League of Cities located in Washington, D.C., and we work very closely with their lobbying staff to keep members informed about bills being considered in Congress. When you take office, one of the first actions you will be asked to consider is how to spend the funds recently appropriated by Congress in the American Rescue Plan Act. We are working closely with the National League of Cities and the U.S. Treasury to make sure that every MML member city, town, and village understands the requirements for spending these COVID relief funds appropriated by Congress.
Hi, I'm Robbie Brown, Deputy Director of MML. I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes about our education and training program and some of the member services that we offer to you. Our education program is known as the Certified Municipal Official, or CMO for short. Within CMO, there are 3 levels, and each level consists of some core courses and some electives that you have to take. The first level is the basic level, and the core courses in that level consist of the basics of what you need to know as a municipal official. The municipal organization class will go over things like the power and duties of the mayor, and the power and duties of the board, and shared responsibilities, and how board meetings will run. In the municipal law class, we have representatives from the Attorney General's office, the State Auditor's office, and the Ethics Commission, and they come and talk about most of the laws that apply to municipalities. The municipal finance class will introduce you into finances that apply to municipal government. You'll go over things such as millage rates, ad valorem, that kind of thing. And the municipal land use class will present zoning codes and how those are supposed to work in your community. These core courses will total up to 20 hours, and then you'll take elective credits. You'll need 40 hours of those. And elective credits are other educational opportunities at our conferences. Sometimes state agencies or other groups will offer some training that will promote and offer some of our elective credits for. And so you can take those, and you're trying to get that number up to 40. And in this basic level, you'll have a total of 60 hours of education. Once you complete the basic level, the next level is the advanced CMO level. And in this level, there are 3 core courses, and one of those is community development. Another one is economic development. And the last one is economic and community development case study. And in this class, the presenters from the community development and the economic development courses come together and talk about how economic development and community development go hand in hand. And in this level, the goal here is to, now that you know the basics, you need to move your community forward, help your community grow. And so that's the point to these courses. And then again, like in the basic level, you'll need some elective hours to complete this level. And at this level, you need 25 hours. Once you complete the advanced level, you'll move on to the professional development level. And at this level, you take courses that are designed to help you become a better leader. So in this core courses, we cover things like management, building relationships, team building, human resources, labor law issues. And we don't have permanent core courses in this level like we do in these other 2. But in this one, we will have some classes at our conferences, and we'll mark that they're professional development credits. And you'll take these to total up to 15. These classes are usually worth 3 hours a piece. So you'll take 5 of these core courses. And then again, like in the other 2 levels, you'll need to get some elective credits for 25 hours. And at each of our conferences, we will offer some of these core courses. So at our annual conference that we have in the summer, we offer all of these core courses at least one time. We have 2 other conferences. Our midwinter legislative conference is held in Jackson in January. And then our small town conference is held usually in October, sometimes November. And it's held around the state in different locations. And it's called the small town conference because we gear some of the breakout sessions towards the smaller towns, but any size city is welcome to attend. At that midwinter conference and small town conference, we will offer at least one of these core courses in each of the 3 levels for you to have those opportunities to take those. I want to show you a transcript. So to help you keep up with the classes that you've taken, we have a transcript for you. And here's an example of someone who recently completed the basic level. So you can see that here are the 4 core courses that I talked about from the basic level. She has taken all 4 of these. If you look at this section right here, it shows you the number that is required to complete this part of the core of the basic certification. And over on this side, it shows you the credits that you've earned. So she needed 20, she got the 20 hours here by taking these 4 courses. Then in electives, she needed 40 and she's got 40 right here. But I want to show you something on electives. So you can see here's that basic level, here's the advanced level, here's the professional development level. The electives, and she rolls over to a second page. These are all, as you can see, conference attendance credits. You get credit just for coming to the conference. And then there's also these 1-hour type breakout sessions in here. You can see that she has a total of 48 elective credits. So since she only needed 40 for the basic level, she got her 40, and then the additional 8 roll over automatically to the advanced level here. So she's moved on to advanced, and you can see that she's taken 1 of the 3 required advanced courses. So here's the amount that she needs, and here's the amount that she's taken. So she knows she has this, she's now needs to take these other 2 core courses. And she needs to get this number up to 25, which she's already got 8 that were left over from the first level. I also want to show you on this person's transcript that she has already taken some of the professional development core courses here. which is fine. You can take these courses in the order that you want to. However, you only graduate from a level once you complete the previous level. So you can see here that she has enough core courses in her PD. She still needs the electives here, but she's got enough core courses. She needed 15, she took 15. These don't count towards graduation until she completes this level. So once she finishes these other 2 core courses and then takes enough electives to get this number up to 25, she will automatically move up to the professional development level, and she's already got her core courses done. So then she'll just be working on getting this elective credits number up to 25. You can see your transcript at any time. You can call the office and we will help you set up a login for you to check it. And if you have any questions about it, please call us. It helps to call us before a conference. We can say you're missing this class and here's the day and time that we're offering it to help you make your own schedule. We also will have a table set up at all of our conferences where if you have any questions about your transcript, you can come to our table and we'll walk you through it. At the annual conference, the educational topics that we've selected for the newly elected officials, to make it a little bit easier for you, we're going to print those sessions in red. Just the agenda is big, and so we want to help you navigate that and find the classes that are geared towards you as a newly elected official a little more easily. And another added value at all of our conferences is your networking opportunities. All of these classes in education and training are great, but sometimes the best resource for you is going to be another municipal official who's maybe already been through a situation in their city, and they can talk to you about what happened with them, things they wish they had done differently, that kind of thing. So make sure you take advantage of networking opportunities to get to know your fellow municipal officials and build those relationships so you can reach out to them when you need to. And speaking of reaching out to other elected officials, I do want to mention that we have a new mayor mentoring program that we offer. And in this program, we will connect newly elected mayors with veteran mayors who have been in office for a while. And they can talk to you about what they've learned, what they wish they had known their first time in office. And so if you want to, it's a voluntary program. We'll have a form at the annual conference that you can fill out and send back to us to participate in the program. And we connect you with an experienced mayor. And the program's really easy. All we do is ask you to call each other on the phone once a month, talk about the issues that you're facing, and visit each other's city at least one time in the year. I also want to talk to you today about the services we offer through what we call our City Hall Center. Our City Hall Center is a clearinghouse of information for cities. One of the things that we offer is technical support. If you have an issue that you're not sure what the city's supposed to do, or is the city allowed to do a certain thing, call us and we'll be glad to do some research for you. I do have to do my disclaimer here of we're not offering legal advice. I'm not an attorney, but I'll be glad to look in the state code and see if I can find the answer for you. I will call the Attorney General's office or the state auditor's office to see if we can find an answer for you. And that just helps you not have to sit on hold with various state agencies to find an answer. I'll look for it for you and I will call you back or email you back. But always talk to your city attorney about legal issues. Nothing that I send you is ever meant to replace the advice and counsel of your city attorney. We also will sometimes provide technical briefs on some issues that we feel like need some explaining. A lot of issues in municipal government, especially when state law changes, can get pretty complicated. And so we try to give you a summary of some things that you need to know and simplify it a little bit for you. We also have a city ordinance archive. So say, for example, you want to pass a new animal control ordinance in your community and you're not really sure where to start. Let me know and I will gladly send you city ordinances from other cities that deal with animal control. And you can look at them and see if that's something that you can say, I like what this city did, or we would never need to do that in our city. Kind of create your own ordinance. It's not meant to just cross off the city's name and put your city's name in there, but it's meant to help you as a guide, as a starting point for creating your own ordinance. If I don't have any ordinances on a topic that you're looking for, I send out a request to the other cities, and I will let you know what kind of responses I get from that. And the last thing I want to mention from the City Hall Center is we try to keep you updated with with grant information. Grants are constantly changing. There's sometimes grants go away. There's new grants that show up. Deadlines change on grants. And so what we started doing is we now create this state agency grants and loans for Mississippi municipalities book. And we try to have it ready by our midwinter conference in January every year. And in this book, we have listed grant opportunities from all the state agencies in Mississippi. When you go to this book, you will see there's a table of contents here. And that's just meant to help you sort of narrow down what you're looking for. And there's links to each one that'll take you directly to that page. And so if you clicked on the Keep Mississippi Beautiful grant, it would take you to this page. And in here is just a brief summary of this particular grant. It talks about how much funding is available through this grant. If there are any deadlines applicable, we'll put that here. It also lets you know if there's any matching requirements. So say, for example, this grant covers up to 60% of the project. So the city would have to come up with the other 40%. And so we'll list any matching requirements right here. But probably the most important thing on these pages is this contact information. As I mentioned earlier, grant information changes from year to year. And so something may have changed after we printed these books. So please reach out to these contacts and just ask them about their grants and let them know what you're trying to do. There may be a grant that we're not aware of, or there may be a grant that they know of that, hey, this one won't help you, but I think this grant would be useful to you over here. So always feel free to reach out to these contacts that we list on these pages. If you ever have any questions, if we can be of any assistance, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Congratulations on your election, and I hope to meet you at the annual conference.
Hi, my name is Samantha Wilmoth, and I'm the marketing coordinator here at the Municipal League. One of my main responsibilities is to keep the membership informed of the programs and events being offered by the League, as well as to make sure everyone is informed of the most up-to-date information in order to better help you serve your cities and towns. We do this through a variety of communication platforms, some of which I'm going to detail for you today. The first one I'd like to point out is our website, www.mmlonline.com. From this website, we like to promote upcoming events and education opportunities, post important news articles, and keep everyone informed with upcoming grant and funding opportunities. You can find all of the most recent technical assistance and research on our City Hall Center, and the news articles will be posted under the News tab. All of our upcoming conferences and events will be listed under the Conferences tab, and CMO education opportunities will be listed under the CMO Education tab. We also have a Job Opportunities tab where we are able to post job openings that are available to municipalities across the state. So if your city or town has a job opportunity that they would like to promote and publicize, please let us know so we can post it to our page. On the MML conferences page, you'll see all the upcoming events that we have scheduled. You can also register online for these events. Registering for conferences online not only saves your city paperwork and unnecessary postage fees, but it'll also save you $5 per registrant when completing your registration online. Municipal officials can also check their CMO transcripts from our website. This is where you can go to see a list of all the classes that you've already taken and those that you still lack in order to reach one of our 3 levels of accreditation through our CMO program. To access either CMO transcripts or online conference registrations, you'll need to set up an online user account. Please contact our office in order to do so you can access these 2 programs. One final note about our website that I'd like to point out is our municipal marketplace. This is where we list all of our associate members, which are companies that have joined the league in order to provide their services and products to our members. We can list them all on this part of our website alphabetically or categorically. So if there's a particular company that you'd like to reach and contact, you can come to this section of the website. Or if there's a particular service or product that you're looking for, this is also where you can come. The next method of communication I'd like to discuss is our quarterly magazine, Mississippi Municipalities. This publication is printed 4 times a year and is mailed directly to city halls across the state. Each individual municipal official will receive their own copy of this, but it will all be delivered directly to City Hall. You can also find a digital copy of the latest publication on our website, which I just showed you. In each issue, you will find informative information from league leadership, state agency heads, as well as technical updates regarding the latest news in municipal government and state legislation. We also love to use our magazine to highlight the great stories going on from our member municipalities across the state. So be sure to share those with us anytime you have something you'd like to promote so that we can post it in our magazine. While the magazine is a great tool to get out information to members, we obviously need to communicate more than 4 times a year with everyone. So this is where our weekly email blasts come into play. Every Thursday morning, you will receive an email with the most up-to-date information going on with the league and our upcoming events, education opportunities, and highlights from both the state and federal levels. Like I said, we send these out once a week, but if there is something important that we need to send out a dedicated email blast on, we will send out an additional email. But we're very conscious not to bombard your inboxes with MML emails. Just a note too, we only keep your emails in-house. We will never share your email addresses with anyone outside of the MML office. During the legislative session, you'll receive a second weekly email solely dedicated to information about what's going on at the state capitol and where MML stands on its legislative on its legislative agenda week to week. We will also use these weekly legislative update emails to let you know when there's an important call to action or we need member engagement at the Capitol. Recently, we started utilizing text message alerts to let our membership know when there's a timely call to action that we need immediate action on at the Capitol. As we get closer to the 2022 legislative session, we'll let you guys know how to get signed up for those text message alerts. The final communication platforms that I'd like to point out are Facebook and Twitter pages. You can follow us on Facebook at MS Municipal League and follow us on Twitter at MML Online. We use both of these pages for various reasons. Facebook's mostly for photos and stories from our member municipalities. So if you have something going on that you would like to share with us and the membership, be sure to tag us or send it to us so we can promote it on our Facebook page. We use Twitter a lot, especially during the legislative session when things happen quickly and we need to keep everyone up to date in a very quick manner. Be sure to follow us on both of these pages so that you can stay up to date with all of the latest news. Our municipal directory is a publication that we produce every 4 years after each regularly scheduled municipal election. Your city clerk should have already received a survey where we're asking for the updated contact information for everyone in the city after this most recent round of municipal elections. Please make sure that your city clerk completes and returns these surveys to our office so that we can update our database with all of the new personnel. Once we have all of this information, we will be able to compile our 2021 through 2025 municipal directory. This is where we'll list all of our contact information for cities and towns across the state, as well as their officials information and other important news like the board meeting dates, upcoming election dates, the types of government each municipality is labeled as, and more. And you can access a digital version of this municipal directory on our website as well. At any point throughout your tenure in municipal government, please feel free to contact our office for any reason. We are here to help you better serve your city and towns, and we look forward to working with you during your tenure in office. Thank you for accepting this role in public service.
Hello, my name is Akia Moore, and I serve as the Research and Special Projects Coordinator for the Mississippi Municipal League. One of my favorite programs is our leadership program that we offer to our mayor's youth councils. Our youth councils are more than just a service member club, because members determine to train and involve their peers in service leadership. Also, they provide valuable insight on issues affecting youth and the community. If you're interested in starting something like this in your own city or town, please contact our office at 601-353-5854. Our services for our mayor's youth councils include our MML's statewide youth leadership summit, which is usually held in the spring of each year. It is a 2-day event which is held at a college or university in the state of Mississippi. The purpose of the summit is to bring city officials and youth together to share their experiences of their programs and the impacts made on their community. Also, while our students are at this youth summit, they participate in our community service projects. One of our community service projects was our Child Advocacy Hub, which was done in the year of 2019, where students were able to deliver toiletry items to kids who have been abused or experienced abuse in their households. Another program that we offer to youth across the state of Mississippi is our MML Youth Scholarship. Comes in 3 categories. The first category being general, equaling the amount of $2,000, is for our high school seniors. And our 2 limited scholarships, which also equal to the amount of $2,000, are for children, grandchildren of employees or elected officials and high school seniors working part-time for a member municipality of the Mississippi Municipal League and the Mississippi Municipal Service Company.
Hello, welcome to the Mississippi Municipal Service Company's webinar for the MML's orientation of newly elected officials. My name is Stephen D. Smith. I am the president and CEO of the Mississippi Municipal Service Company. I also administer the Mississippi Municipal Liability Plan and Mississippi Municipal Workers' Compensation Group. We want to congratulate each and every one of you on your election, and we look forward to working with each and every one of you as you get to the business of governing your communities. So with that, we want to introduce you to our self-insured programs that were established by and for municipalities. And at the end, if we have any questions, we'll let you know of who you can call and contact to seek additional information. As newly elected officials, we wish to take a few moments to introduce you to our municipal self-insurance programs and to the service organization that administers each program. It is important for you to know that these municipal self-insured programs were created over 30 years ago by and for Mississippi public and elected officials. Unlike any other service agency competing in Mississippi, the Mississippi Municipal Service Company is a dedicated organization whose only priority is to its municipal membership. Let's talk a moment about the Mississippi Municipal Liability Plan. The plan was formed in 1989 in response to a critical need for affordable liability protection for municipalities. Those years ago, the goal was to provide comprehensive coverage that extended beyond what was offered by commercial insurances. So what was created, in addition to traditional general liability coverage for municipalities, was that the self-insured plan included automobile liability, law enforcement liability, employment and sexual harassment liability, errors and omissions liability, and extended coverage for elected and public officials, directors, and officers such as yourself. As a newly elected official, it is very important for you to understand that you can be sued in a court of law, individually or in your official capacity, along with your municipality for all these decisions that you will make. Right or wrong or indifferent, this can happen to you. So it is important, and we ask that you please ensure that you follow all federal, state, and local laws when making decisions. And if there is ever any doubt, please reach out to your city's general counsel or city attorney for assistance. Also, I want you all to know that as an elected official, the Mississippi Municipal Liability Plan, and if your city is a member of the plan, we do reimburse your city for the cost of your elected officials' bond coverage, which you must have. This reimbursement normally occurs in July of each respective year that the bond has been purchased. So please ensure that your city clerk gets that information to us so that you can be properly reimbursed for your bond. As you can see, the Mississippi Municipal Liability Plan provides outstanding coverage for our municipalities, their employees, and elected officials. One of the great advantages of the liability plan is that there is no per claim deductible on any line of coverage. This helps you, our elected leaders, better budget year to year without the unwelcome surprise of additional insurance costs when claims are presented against your city. Your self-insured program also has a stable and competitive rating structure year after year, which also helps your city avoid big swings in your yearly cost for this mandatory insurance coverage. The Mississippi Municipal Liability Plan has over 260 member municipalities in this program, and it is a very strong program which all our member municipalities should be very proud of. This takes us now to the Mississippi Municipal Workers' Compensation Group. This self-insured program, again, was formed by and for municipalities. The Workers' Compensation Group provides workers' comp coverage for employees of a municipality who may get injured on the job in the course and scope of their employment. It covers medical and lost benefits for member employees. Workers' compensation coverage is mandated by the state of Mississippi for any employer with 5 or more employees. That covers most of all of our municipalities within the state of Mississippi. Our self-insured pool not only satisfies these workers' compensation requirements for all city employees, but the comp group also provides medical benefits for qualified volunteer fire and law enforcement personnel. This is to great benefit for some of our small towns who cannot or do not have the resources to provide full-time fire or law enforcement departments. So after 30 years of operation, the Mississippi Municipal Workers' Compensation Group has over 270 member cities and continues to offer stable and competitive rates and self-insured discounts with no hidden fees and no costly commission fees. In 1991, elected officials took our programs one step further and formed their own service company, the Mississippi Municipal Service Company. The idea was simple: provide claims administration and risk management services for plan members, which could be done more efficiently and effectively through an in-house service company. In addition to claims administration, the service company has a full line of risk management services, including safety training, loss control, and law enforcement training. As cities have become more involved in their own loss control efforts over these years, the service company is there every step of the way, providing our membership with the tools and expertise to manage and prevent losses. The service company is your dedicated organization whose only priority is to municipalities. Now, what we have stressed from year to year on each self-insured program is rate stability. Our consistent rating structure has allowed us to provide constant general liability and workers' compensation coverage for our members without the worry of losing coverage or being non-renewed because of one bad claim or bad loss year. No municipality has ever been refused entry into the self-insured programs because of their bad claims experience. From the beginning to today, there's been a commitment to excellence in service and coverage, and we remain committed to seeing to the continued success of these self-insured municipal programs. The only priority of the service company is to our membership. And with our highly experienced staff dealing exclusively with municipal and risk issues, our members enjoy a high level of dedicated services not found with other providers. Working alongside with the Mississippi Municipal League, our services benefit all our municipalities through lower premium costs, a more loss-conscious workforce, and safety policies beneficial to all our citizens. Now, this slide will cover some key people, as I said at the beginning of this. These are key personnel that work for the service company that service you. If you have any questions or wish to learn more about the programs or the service organization, please give me or any of our staff members a call. Again, thank you for taking the time today to listen to our introduction. And if you do have any questions, give us a call. We're here to help. So again, congratulations on your victory, and we look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
I first want to say thank you to the great staff of the Mississippi Municipal League for being such great partners with the Stennis Institute over the years. This relationship dated way back to my time as executive director, and it just continues to strengthen with the relationship and friendships and partnerships that we've had moving forward. A quick introduction of who I am and what we are at the Stennis Institute. My name is Dallas Green. I'm the current executive director and assistant research professor at the John C. Stennis Institute of Government and Community Development at Mississippi State University. Seeing as how that's a mouthful, most of you, if you've heard of us referred to as the Stennis Institute. We're not the folks that build rockets down on the coast. We're not the folks that can do the aerospace engineering, although I'm sure I can find somebody to help us along with that. What we are is a public service, applied research, and training organization to help the people of the state of Mississippi and the surrounding areas. We've been around for over 45 years helping the people of Mississippi. And it is a great honor and opportunity to be able to share with you through the great people of the Mississippi Municipal League what the Stennis Institute can do to help you all. So I'll just kind of run through a quick overview of who we are, what we can provide, and hopefully get a good idea of what we may be able to do to help you all as you move into your challenges and opportunities as municipalities in the state. So the first thing, and it's pretty much, I think, on everybody's mind, especially as we move into the U.S. Census Bureau releasing their information, is redistricting. Whether you're a new official or you're a long-term serving official, you know that every 10 years, cities, counties, school districts have to redistrict their districts or wards, depending on what form of government you're in. And to do so, it requires oftentimes getting that census information and processing it and making sure it's an equitable process throughout. The 2010 cycle, the Stennis Institute was successful in redistricting 36 different cities, counties, and school districts across the state of Mississippi. And it's a point of pride to say that because of the techniques and the approaches we used to it, we did not have a lawsuit challenging any of our redistricting efforts in the 2010 cycle. So know that we're here to work with you all in engagement with the officials, with the citizens, to make sure that the process is smooth, it's done the way the officials and the people of the town, of your towns and communities would like, and to make sure it's equitable for the people of your communities. Another product or program we have at the Institute is the State Executive Development Institute, commonly referred to as SEDI. I know many of the municipal officials aren't as familiar with this program because it's primarily been attended by state agencies, and sometimes some county supervisors. But over the years, we've had city officials join in and take part in this and these cohorts in this state executive program. And what it does is it prepares mid to upper level management in some of their functions as they move up into the next steps. So as alderpersons or council members, this type of training could be vital to you all as you develop your skills, you spend more time working with your budgets, and you're able to answer your constituents in a more efficient and enlightening manner. To learn more, we've included some QR codes. So if you're watching this, you can hit pause, take a screen capture of what you have, and it should take you to our CD page. As always, technology doesn't always work perfectly. So for any reason you can't, at the end, you'll have my contact information. Please feel free to send me an email or call me at your convenience. Another concept and program we have here at the Institute that we like to work with communities, and the communities enjoy us helping move these situations, challenges, opportunities along, is our process known as strategic doing. Strategic doing is similar in fashion to strategic planning, but the idea is that we help you make steps to actually put these things in action. So you take an idea, a plan that may sit on a shelf for 20 years, and you put it into action. You take small pieces of things that are of opportunities that are there and can be tackled immediately. And it's an interactive process. It's not just one group, one person making the calls. The idea behind it is you have multiple causes of some situation or some opportunity, and there's not just one way to solve the issue. Many of you may be familiar with this, as you may have had this program in your communities, but if you're not, as I said, please feel free to take a picture with your smartphone of that. It's called a QR code, but it's that scrambled little thing in the bottom left corner, and it should take you to more information on this program. The next item that we participate in and that we conduct is the biennial municipal salary survey. And by this, it is every 2 years, we work with the Mississippi Municipal League. You all probably have, if you're an elected official who's been a part of your community for several years, you've seen us ask you for your information, how much you're paying your individuals, what type of insurance, benefits, et cetera. We work with you all to collect this information. And every 2 years at the annual conference, the Mississippi Municipal League annual conference, we release the results of this salary survey. We typically have anywhere between 110 and 140 municipalities. We're hoping for more this go round, as we've included an online survey to make it a little easier for some of you to fill this information out. And what this does is helps you understand what other people are paying in comparable areas with comparable budgets. So that way you know how you can be competitive in keeping your best and brightest in your city employment. And so we've worked with the Mississippi Municipal League for years. We think this is one of our most successful programs and research endeavors that we do. And like I said, every 2 years. So depending on when you watch this, if it's before the Mississippi Municipal League at the end of July, I hope you'll take the time out and fill out the survey if you haven't already. One of the student-led activities that many of the elected officials and municipalities aren't necessarily aware of, that we conduct here at the Institute, is the Stennis-Montgomery Association. And while this isn't necessarily directly involving elected officials, what this is information for those of you that have the young people in your communities that are interested in coming to Mississippi State. And what we do is we help guide these young, bright students through a year's worth of educational sessions, meeting with public officials locally, and then we take them to Washington, D.C. During their spring break to meet all of the Mississippi delegation, as well as folks on and off the Hill. This is one of those student organizations that we take exceptional pride in at the Institute. And I want to be sure that you all know, as elected officials, that we are working tirelessly to make sure students understand the importance of civic education and governance at all levels, local, state, and federal. One of our newly, reinvigorated programs is our Mississippi Votes. The Mississippi Votes is a yearly publication that we put out that looks at the precinct level elections each year. So this past year, we had the ballot initiatives, and we had the presidential election, and we had other statewide elections that are included in this report. And if you'll take a moment to use the QR code, you can see the map book that we've put together. And the idea is you can see at a very, very fine detail down to the precinct level. So every voting precinct, we have that data and we've mapped it out. So if you get a moment, you can see what we have in store and give you an idea of what we can do here at the Institute. And with that, that kind of gives you just a brief overview. I didn't want to take too much of your time. I certainly don't want to be on camera too much because I definitely have a face for radio. But that said, if there's anything we can do for you or any way we can help you, please let me know or let any of my folks know. We're here to serve the people of Mississippi. We're here to help you all. And again, it's such a great partnership and friendship to have the Mississippi Municipal League and their great staff work with us hand in hand a lot of times to make sure that we're giving the people of Mississippi the best opportunities they can possibly have.
Hello, I'm Sumner Davis. I'm the center head for the Extension Center for Government and Community Development. First off, let me say congratulations on being elected to municipal office. It's a huge step, and I want to thank each and every one of you for taking time to participate in the system, put your name out there, put your name on a ballot, run a successful campaign, and hopefully make a super positive difference in your own community. I've been asked by the staff at the Mississippi Municipal League to talk to you a little bit today about your first board meeting and a couple of things you can expect or be looking out for. So as we go through this, I'm going to touch on just the highlights because we're trying to keep this as condensed for time as we can. The first thing we need to talk about is when you go in your board meeting, your municipality is going to operate under some type of parliamentary procedure. A lot of you will be familiar with a type of parliamentary procedure and commonly referred to as Robert's Rules of Order, which is super, super detailed and complicated. The one thing I will advise you is don't get bogged down so much into, is this done exactly the way Robert's Rules of Order should have done it? Because your municipality probably already has an adopted procedural ordinance, which may or may not be Robert's Rules of Order. Basically, as long as you as a municipality have a motion made that is seconded, and then you have a vote on it. And between those, there is the opportunity for discussion. That's really all that is required for your minutes. That's all that's required for you to take action as a municipal governing body. So don't get bogged down in whether or not this motion was 100% correct in the timing and the procedure. As long as everybody is playing by the same rules and everybody understands that we need a main motion that covers one subject area. We have someone on our board or council who duly seconds it. And then there is a general level of decorum for discussion around that motion. And then there is a vote. That's the basics. That's really all you need to do. For those of y'all that are in a code charter municipality, a mayor board of alder municipality, the mayor will be the presiding officer at your meetings. And the aldermen, they will be the legislative body. So the alderman would make the motion and seconds. The mayor's going to call the votes and recognize those people that want to speak at the time. And again, as long as y'all play nice with each other and don't talk over each other and keep that level of decorum in your meeting, everything should be fine. If you're in a mayor council form of government, strong mayor form of government, the council will have an elected president who will preside at the meeting and function and do those things as far as, and then the rest of the council will make the motion seconds. But to the bigger point, just make sure that on the parliamentary procedure side, Keep in mind, it's just to maintain order. So be courteous to each other. Don't talk over each other. Wait to be recognized by the presiding officer. Make sure you have a clearly defined motion, a second, and then you'll vote on it and you'll move through. Now, some of the things that y'all will probably be dealing with at your first board meeting: appointments to municipal service, whether that's the reappointment of the person who is already in the position or appointing someone else. The governing authorities need to do that. Statute says you need to do that at your first board meeting. Now, if you don't do it at your first board meeting, make that reappointment or appointment, the person who is currently serving in that position continues to serve until such time as the governing authorities of the municipality make those appointments. So we're talking about positions in the code charter, mayor, board of aldermen, form of government, like your city clerk, your police chief, your department heads, your municipal judge, those types of things. It also goes down to every municipal employee, but you can make one motion on the general employees and say, we move to reappoint everybody. Now, keep in mind, every municipality, we've got 298 municipalities around the state. Every municipality is probably going to do this slightly different. So don't get freaked out if that's not on your first agenda, okay? As long as you get to it in a very timely manner, therefore, you'll be okay. But if you are one of these municipalities that handles it at your very first board meeting, be aware that those either, like I said, reappointments or appointment of someone new will be on your agenda potentially. So that's something you need to be looking at and or thinking about. The next thing that I really want to talk about would be what's called the claims docket. You will have a claims docket on your agenda for the first board meeting. The claims docket is all of the bills the municipality has to pay, and it should enumerate them from a box of screws to a brand new Ford pickup truck for public works and everything in between. And all it is a listing of everything that the city has bought between your board meeting and the previous board meeting. And what you as an alderman or council member are doing is approving those claims. That's why it's called a claims docket. And when you do that, that gives the city the authority to actually cut the checks and pay those vendors for what the city has bought. So I would encourage you to get with your city clerk and look at the claims docket and have them explain the process they use in your city hall so that you understand exactly what you're looking at, because you as someone voting on the claims docket accept responsibility that the purchase law was followed and that all of those claims are legitimate and therefore acceptable to be paid by the city. If for whatever reason the audit department were to come in and find something and your municipality weren't found to have followed the purchase law, once you vote on that claim docket, it is your responsibility, and the audit department could come back on you as the person. That's part of your fiduciary responsibility to the municipality. I'm not trying to freak you out. I'm really not trying to scare you, but I do want you to be aware of what that is, what it means, and what the implications are. And I would really encourage you to go down, like I said, and talk to your city clerk or whoever in the clerk's office is handling that. And kind of, if you don't understand, ask them questions on the front end so that they can explain that to you. In addition to your appointments on clerk and police chief and judge and those types of things, if you're in a code charter, mayor, board of aldermen form of government, you're also going to need to elect one of your members from the board as the mayor pro tem, otherwise known as the vice mayor. Vice mayor who serves if the mayor is temporarily unavailable to perform their duties. On the strong mayor form, the mayor council form, you will elect at your first board meeting a president and vice president of your council, with the president serving as the presiding officer in your meetings. And those things need to be done your very first board meeting. So really the key points to take away: parliamentary procedure, just keep it simple, be nice and courteous to each other. make your appointments or start getting ready to make your appointments very quickly if you don't do it at your first meeting. Understand what the claims docket actually is and what it means, and then be ready to elect a vice mayor or a president, vice president of your council in your first board meeting. A little bit about my office here in Extension. We here in the Center for Government Community Development provide educational programming, specialized publications, and technical assistance to units of local government in the state of Mississippi. We work very closely with the Mississippi Municipal League on programming. We've had a great relationship with them on some certified municipal official night classes that will be available throughout your term, and we're happy to partner with them on those things. We partner with the MML on the book called Municipal Government Mississippi, which we revise every 4 years. We will be giving out 2 copies per municipality at the MML's convention at the end of July. They will be available in our booth in the exhibit hall. So have someone from municipality stop by and pick up your copies. And again, that's a joint project between our office and MML, and we're real proud of that partnership as well. The last thing I want to leave you with is my office does a city clerk certification program. It's a 3-year certification program. I would strongly encourage you, if your city clerk or deputy city clerks haven't been through that program, encourage them to go. We will send you back better employees than what you send us. So look, just to sum this up, congratulations on election. You should be looking forward to your term in office because I'm sure you're going to be able to make a positive impact in your community. Again, I'm Sumner Davis with the Center for Government Community Development at Mississippi State University Extension Service. Thank you all so much for your time.
Well, hello and congratulations to all of you, the newly elected officers of municipalities around Mississippi. My name is State Auditor Shad White, and I wanted to be one of the first to congratulate you and thank you for serving your communities and the public in this way. Those of the folks who work at MML know that MML is one of my favorite associations, mainly because I grew up going to MML events. My dad has been an alderman in the little town I grew up in almost as long as I've been alive, and he is now mayor of the little town in South Mississippi where I grew up. So I saw firsthand the importance of serving your municipality in an elected capacity, and I want to thank you for stepping up and doing that as well. What I wanted to do today is tell you a little bit about what the State Auditor's Office is, how it can be helpful to you as a newly elected official, and some of the things that we do and that we don't do, but we can help send you in the right direction if you need services that sound like they might fall under us but actually fall under somebody else. So what does the State Auditor's Office do? The State Auditor's Office audits state agencies, we audit counties, we audit K-12 school districts, but we do not audit municipalities in Mississippi. Municipalities, if they have to be audited, are audited typically by private CPA firms. We don't do that in the State Auditor's Office. But if there is evidence of any sort of criminal activity, so for example, we had a case last year involving the CFO of a municipality in East Mississippi. That CFO had embezzled hundreds of thousands of dollars. If there is criminal activity going on and we are told about it through a whistleblower or a tip, we can investigate that. We can build that investigation. And if we find that that person has done wrong and we prove it, then we will go forward and work with a prosecutor to hold that individual accountable. So for your purposes, just know that the State Auditor's Office does not audit municipalities, but if you do see something going wrong, something that looks like it might be criminal, you can always call and talk to the State Auditor's Office, and you can do so, of course, confidentially. Our number at the Auditor's Office is 1-800-321-1275. 1-800-321-1275. You can call that number anytime during typical business hours, and you can ask for investigations if you want to give us information, and we will keep your information confidential. You could also go to osa.ms.gov. That's the website for the Auditor's Office. And if you want to report fraud that you've seen, you can go up to the top right-hand corner there's a button that says report fraud. It's a big red button, and you can click on that. And again, you can report fraud to us anonymously. The other big thing that I think is important for any incoming elected official to know, whether it's municipal or county or whatever, is that the auditor's office has a whole division dedicated to answering questions about how public money can be spent properly. So this division is called the Technical Assistance Division. They also sit at that 1-800 number, 1-800-321-1275. And if you ever have a question that's sort of like, hey, I need to know if I'm allowed to vote to spend money on that, or hey, our town wants to spend money on this, and we're not sure if that's legally allowed, you can call our hotline, 1-800-321-1275, ask for technical assistance, and we will give you the answer right then and there, or we'll research it and we'll call you back and get you an answer. Our goal is to have an answer back on most questions within 24 hours. So I set that out as our goal, and we do our best to meet it. We've got a great team in technical assistance. It's a team of CPAs, lawyer CPAs, people who have both credential. They are highly trained in answering these kinds of questions and in researching these kinds of questions if you need to know the answer. So if you take away nothing else from what I'm saying here, I would say this: if you've got a question about how to spend public money, call our office. Don't ever hesitate. We purposefully keep our technical assistance division on a different floor than our investigations division. We also make it a point to say that we answer hypothetical questions. So if you have a question, I'll just use a crazy example. If you have a question that's sort of like, hey, our town just spent $100,000 on a Ferrari, are we allowed to spend money on that? If you call and you ask that question to technical assistance, we treat it as a hypothetical. So in other words, we'll give you the answer and we'll give it to you without forwarding that information over to investigations. We do that to give people a chance to fix mistakes. Of course, if there's embezzlement going on or any sort of intentional criminal activity, that's a different matter. But if you call technical assistance, we will give you advice, and we will do so honestly and candidly without you having to worry about whether or not somebody will come around and ask you questions about it later, as long as mistakes are fixed, basically. So call technical assistance, 1-800-321-1275. That's your best way to get advice, other than talking to your municipal attorney. That's your best way to get advice about what you can and cannot spend money on. So those are the big things that I would tell anybody coming into office, in a municipal elected office. I do want to say again, thank you for your service. It means a lot to me as the son of somebody who serves in an elected office in a municipality. I've seen a lot of times where my dad had to wake up late at night because somebody's water was off, or even basic things down to somebody's cow got into the middle of the street and the police officers needed help getting it back where it belonged, the sewer being out. I know that what you will do as an elected officer in your municipality is going to require a ton of hours away from your family. It's going to require a ton of work on your part. Sometimes people are not going to give you all the credit that is due for all that time that you spend working on their behalf. But what you're doing is very important. And I want to say that, and I want to thank you for being willing to step up and serve your communities in that way. One final thought: in order to really be up to speed on what you can and cannot spend money on, in order to do your job particularly well, this job, being an elected officer in your municipality, is going to require work and training just like in any other job. So just like in any other job, I came into the state auditor's office and I said, you know what, I'm prepared to be state auditor, but I want to continually be training so that I get better and better at this job. That's why I went out and I got a certificate in fraud accounting, forensic accounting. I went out and I became a certified fraud examiner. You need to invest in yourself and training yourself so that you can be the best possible city council member, alderman, mayor, whatever. You can be the best version of you and that professional that you can be. So what am I getting at? The state auditor's office does about 75 trainings per year. The same folks that I talked about, the technical assistant folks that answer questions on that 1-800 hotline, they also go out and they do training specifically for local elected officials to give you updates on changes to the law, things that you need to know in order to stay on the right side of the law as you're doing your job. a lot of those trainings happen at MML. So I would tell you, go to the MML convention, go to the other meetings that MML puts on, go to the other trainings that we offer. Those are not just about getting together with old friends and networking with other municipal elected officials and taking your family or whatever it may be. That's not really the purpose, the core purpose of those events, though that's a fun part of it. The core purpose to me is to put a bunch of people together and to retrain and retrain and retrain over and over and over again, so that you know exactly what the law allows you to do and what it says that you cannot do as an elected official. That's very important for you to know, because the responsibility for staying on that right side of the law is on you. It's on you to learn that stuff, to ask those questions. Hey, are we allowed to do this? Hey, are we not allowed to do that? And to comply with what you learn. So I would tell you, just to sort of summarize all that, go to the MML convention, go to the trainings at the MML convention. Just because you're down there doesn't mean you can skip out on some of these trainings. The trainings are really, really important. Go to those, learn about your job, learn about the changes to the law each year, and that will allow you to stay on top of it and be a very effective advocate for your community and a very effective elected official. So with that said, I want to thank you for your service again. Again, if you need us here at the State Auditor's Office, whether it's investigations or technical assistance, 1-800-321-1275. That's your hotline number to get in touch with us during normal business hours. We'll get back to you quick, and we are looking forward to helping you make the most of your time in office. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Tom Hood. I'm with the Mississippi Ethics Commission, and I'm here to talk to you today about the work of the commission and our role and the laws that we deal with, and how you may interact with us, and most importantly, how we can help you in your service as a municipal official. So first of all, congratulations on public service. I hope you will find it a rewarding experience, and I hope you'll be able to make a contribution to your city or town. So the Ethics Commission is a very small agency. We have a relatively large role because we deal with really 4 different parts of the law. And so I'll give you a little outline on that as we start off today. We administer and enforce primarily the ethics and government law, which is obviously where the name comes from. The ways that we do that are primarily to handle the statements of economic interest. That's the disclosure form that you all had to file as a candidate. You'll continue to file that every year as an elected official. We also investigate violations of law by people in state and local government, and we issue written advisory opinions. So we have an enforcement side with the investigations. We also have an advisory side, primarily with the advisory opinions. That's a good way to protect yourself from liability under the ethics law. And that's one of the most important services we provide, is issuing those written advisory opinions. We also provide informal advice. You're welcome to contact us. I have our contact information at the end here, so you can get in touch with us anytime we can help you. A little bit about how the Ethics Commission functions. It is a commission. It's an 8-member board. 2 are appointed by the governor, 2 by the lieutenant governor, 2 by the Speaker of the House, and 2 are appointed by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. We have a staff of 6. We work for the commission. The commission meets once a month. Neither I nor any of my coworkers get to make any of the decisions that the commission makes. We just make recommendations to them. So we present information to the commission at their monthly meetings. They make all the decisions, and then we'll report back to you about their decisions. So we on the staff are kind of a go-between between you and the Ethics Commission, and we can help you on a daily basis with, as I said, informal advice. And then for the more formal advice, we present those to the commission every month. So that's just a real quick overview of how things work. And those, again, are our functions under the ethics law. We also enforce the Open Meetings Act and the Public Records Act. Those are both important for everybody in municipal government to understand. And we'll talk a little bit about those in just a minute. We also have a role under the campaign finance law. That does not come up very often in municipal government. There is an enforcement side to that, where we levy fines that are imposed by the Secretary of State's office. They don't do that with municipal candidates. Those are filed with typically with the municipal clerk. But we can also issue advisory opinions about the campaign finance law, and we may be able to help you with that from time to time if you have questions about the campaign finance law. So you're also welcome to contact us with concerns about that. The process under the ethics law for investigating complaints is unique, and I wanted to cover that just briefly. We're not a law enforcement agency. We don't make arrests. We don't enforce criminal laws. The ethics law is a set of civil laws, and we have an administrative procedure for enforcing that. And it begins with a sworn complaint. Somebody has to file a complaint with our office under oath that alleges a violation of the ethics law before we can conduct an investigation. And the Ethics Commission has to vote to approve that investigation. All of the complaints under the ethics law and all of the investigations are strictly confidential. We don't tell anybody about it. We conduct those investigations as quietly and confidentially as possible. And then we bring back the results of the investigation to the members of the Ethics Commission, and they take it from there. Normally, once we finish the investigation, if we believe that a violation may have occurred, we'll go ahead and send a copy of the complaint to the person against whom it was filed. So if somebody files a complaint against you, you're going to get a copy of it, and you're going to have an opportunity to file a written response to the complaint with us. We present your response and the findings of the investigation to the Ethics Commission, and they determine whether there's cause to believe that a violation occurred or whether the complaint should be dismissed. So either way, you're going to get notice of the complaint. You'll have an opportunity to respond to the complaint. You may not find out about it until we've already dismissed it, but you will receive notice of it and an opportunity to be heard. If the Ethics Commission determines that a violation has probably occurred, they'll set the case for a hearing. Most of our cases settle, but if they don't settle, they go before a hearing officer who's appointed by the Ethics Commission, an independent hearing officer, to hear these cases. The hearing officer then makes a recommendation to the Ethics Commission, and then they make the final decision. The Ethics Commission can impose a fine of up to $10,000 for each violation. They can order people to pay back any money they received in violation of the ethics law. So there are some substantial penalties. The Ethics Commission cannot remove an elected official from office, but they can recommend that a judge remove officials from office. And then if you don't agree with the decision of the Ethics Commission, you can appeal that decision to Hinds County Circuit Court. The ethics law is pretty complex, and I'm not planning to get into the details of that because of the limited time today. You'll hear from me and maybe one of my coworkers again, hopefully at an MML conference in the future. We do a lot of training, but the ethics law is pretty detailed and can get complicated when you add examples from the real world. But basically, it's designed to make sure that when people serve in government, they put the public's interest before their own personal interest. So none of us in government are supposed to use our position in government to get a monetary benefit for ourselves, our relatives. As board members, and mayors, there are some contracts that you can't enter into. You can't have an interest in a contract with the municipality. So there are conflict of interest restrictions contained in the ethics law. They are not restrictions on personal conduct. So we don't determine how people are supposed to act in their personal behavior or during board meetings. It's strictly designed to ensure that if your personal monetary interest, your pocketbook interest comes into conflict with the public interest, the public is always supposed to win. That's the deal that you make with the public when you assume public office in Mississippi. I mentioned that we also offer, in addition to an enforcement procedure, we also offer formal advice. That's done through the advisory opinion process. Now, this is only under the ethics law. These are the only types of opinions we can issue other than those very limited opinions under the campaign finance law. So when you hear me talk about opinions, that normally refers to opinions about conduct under the ethics law. The purpose of an ethics opinion is to give you advice about how to conduct yourself or your business affairs or dealings with your relatives, something that would create a conflict of interest under the ethics law. And so if a situation like that comes up, the best thing to do is contact us, ask us the question, and then let us help you formulate an opinion request to the Ethics Commission. An important thing to know about ethics opinions is that they are anonymous. So we are required by law to publish our opinions. We do that by posting them on our website, but we're also required to take out your name, the name of your town, any other identifying information. So all these opinions, there are thousands of them. They're on our website. You can go look at any of them. You shouldn't be able to look at an opinion and tell who requested the opinion. So we keep your confidence when you ask us questions about your personal business and your family relationships. We keep those confidential. We don't put your name in the opinion, and we don't tell anybody who requested the opinion. Now, you have to request an opinion in writing. We take your written request to present that to the members of the Ethics Commission at their monthly meeting, and then they may or may not issue an opinion. Normally they do, but they're not required to. The best thing about an opinion is that once you get a written opinion from the Ethics Commission, if you follow that opinion, you're completely immune from liability under the ethics law. So it offers you complete protection from an ethics violation as long as you get the advice ahead of time and you follow the advice. As I mentioned, we give informal advice every day. You can send us an email, you can call our office. We're glad to do that. We always say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And our main mission is to help honest people stay out of trouble. So anytime we can help you avoid problems, that's what we want to do. I mentioned at the beginning, we also enforce the Open Meetings Act. Some of you may be familiar with that, or you may be able to guess the meaning of it just from the name. The Open Meetings Act essentially ensures that meetings of public boards have to be held in the open and open to the public. So the Open Meetings Act ensures that members of the public, including the media, can see and hear what's going on at your board meetings. The only way to exclude members of the public from a meeting is by executive session. And that requires you to go through a specific procedure. So there are certain hoops you have to jump through before you can go into executive session. And you can only do it for certain reasons. There are a good many technical requirements in the Open Meetings Act, particularly in the procedural part. Those are things that you or your board attorney or your presiding officer really need to know at every board meeting. And we do a lot of training on that too. So hopefully I'll be able to get into some detail with you about the Open Meetings Act at a future MML session. But that's an important part of the law for you to know about, and really to know off the top of your head, because you need to know how to conduct a meeting before you start attending meetings. Two of the main requirements of the Open Meetings Act are that you give notice to the public when you have a meeting, and that you keep minutes of your meetings. So again, those are to ensure that the public knows when and where you're going to meet so that they can show up and attend. And so that if they don't attend the meeting, they can go back later, look at your minute books and tell what the board did at past meetings. So you got to provide some sort of notice to the public of your meetings, and you got to keep minutes of your meetings that are then available for the public to read. Now, a social gathering is not a meeting unless you talk about city or town business. Okay, so if you get together at the basketball game and you talk about the weather, that's okay. But if a quorum of the board gathers by any means, whether in person, by phone, by email, text message, what have you, if you're gathering a quorum together and you're discussing city business, that's a meeting, and it can only be done during a properly noticed public meeting. So one of the things that trips up a lot of board members is talking to other board members. That's fine if you see somebody at the grocery store and you want to ask about their grandkids, that's no problem. But don't talk to other board members about city business unless you're doing it in an official board meeting. That's the best way to protect yourself from problems that can come up under the Open Meetings Act. Now, also keep in mind that the law allows you to go into executive session for certain reasons. And as I said, after following a certain procedure. But the Open Meetings Act doesn't require you to go into executive session. There's nothing in the Open Meetings Act that requires you to be secretive or to keep things confidential or to do things in private. There may be other laws that require you to have discussions in private that don't allow you to have discussions in public. Certain privacy laws can impose that duty on you. The Open Meetings Act just gives you a way to do that legally through the executive session process. On the other hand, if somebody goes and tells the newspaper editor what you talked about in executive session, they're not violating the Open Meetings Act. They could be violating some other law. They could get sued. They could get the city sued if they discuss something confidential in public, but they're never violating the Open Meetings Act by doing something in public or telling something in public. Let's talk for just a minute about the Public Records Act. It's also an important sunshine law is a term that people frequently use to describe the Public Records Act and the Open Meetings Act. It ensures that members of the public have access to the documents used by the city. So any document or other record, whether it's on paper or electronic, if it's related to city business or created by the city or used by the city for some public purpose, then it's a public record. The definition of public records is very, very broad. It covers just about everything in City Hall. Everybody has the right to inspect or copy public records. They don't have to be a resident of your town. They don't have to be nice or polite. Everybody has a right to inspect or copy public records that are not exempt. The government, in this case, the municipality, can recoup your actual cost of providing those public records. If you have to pay somebody to pull those public records out of the filing cabinet, compile them, review them for confidential information, copy them, mail them, you can charge the person who's asking for the records your actual cost of producing the records, but you can't charge more than your actual cost. Many, many, many records are exempt. So the definition of public records is very broad. Like I said, it covers just about everything in City Hall, but a lot of the records in City Hall are going to be exempt. Those exemptions come from lots of different places. Some of them are in state statute. Some of them are in federal statute. Some of them come from case law. So there are lots of different exemptions, and that's where things begin to get complicated with the Public Records Act. But keep in mind, in principle, just about everything in City Hall is a public record, and you have to consider whether it's exempt before you turn it over to somebody who asks for it. There are two basic kinds of exemptions. There's an exemption that covers an entire record, and there's an exemption that covers information within a record. So for instance, there's a state statute that says tax records are exempt. So if I come to City Hall and ask for a city employee's W-2, I can't get their W-2. But if I come and ask for their pay stub, I can get the pay stub. But some of the information in the pay stub will have to be redacted or blacked out before the copy of the pay stub is turned over to me. That's because some of the information in that document is exempt and some of the information is not exempt. It's very common to have a document that contains both exempt and non-exempt information. When that happens, when somebody comes and asks for it, somebody in City Hall is going to have to go through the document and redact the exempt information. That's another one of those things the city can charge for. The Public Records Act is not something that you're going to have to deal with instantaneously like you may during a board meeting with the Open Meetings Act, but this is something that's good to know. Mostly the folks that work in City Hall are mostly going to be the ones who deal with this part of the law, but it's good for you to know about because it's going to affect all the records you create and work with and deal with in your role with the city. So finally, here's our contact information. We, as I said, are a small agency. Our office is in Jackson. We have a 24/7 presence on the internet like a lot of folks do. And you're welcome to go look at our website. We have lots and lots of resources there that can be very helpful to you. Our email address here at the bottom of the screen is a great way to contact us. We spend a lot of time on the phone, and sometimes it's hard to reach us on the phone. But if you want to send us an email, you'll be sure to get a response. Our phone number, of course, is here too, as well as our address. So anytime we can help you, we'd be glad to. We're pretty easy to find and pretty easy to get in touch with. So best of luck on your career in public service. I hope you enjoy your service. I hope you're able to contribute to your hometown. And please let us know if we can help you in any way. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us today. I know we've presented a lot of issues in a short time. Feel free to rewatch segments or all of the webinar at your leisure. I hope this information helps you as you navigate your first board or council meeting. But most of all, I hope I get to meet you at the MML Annual Conference, July the 26th through the 28th at the Mississippi Gulf Coast Coliseum in Biloxi. Congratulations again on your election, and thank you for your commitment to serve your municipality. Our staff looks forward to serving you.